Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we love to talk about movies. Today we're going to talk about Knock at the Cabin. I saw this yesterday at the theater, so let's dive on in. It's what I think about this film. So ultimately, this is a film that was just fine for me. It wasn't overly boring, like it did hold my attention the entire way through, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was enough to this film. I liked kind of the moral dilemma that it poses. Like if you're presented with the choice to like willingly kill a member of your family to stop the apocalypse, is that something that you would do? I mean, there's a couple questions that are posed. There's like, is that even true? Like, is that really the scenario that they're in, or are they just being presented with something that's not actually true? Or if you do believe that that's true, if you think you really have the power to stop the apocalypse if you sacrifice a member of your family, is that something you would do even if you knew 100% that that were true? I think it's a an interesting moral dilemma, certainly. And yeah, I thought that was probably the best part of the film, was kind of that concept. But for me, I was never convinced that those were the stakes that were at play and that they actually had the power to stop it. So, especially not being convinced, I feel like it's not really a question that I would take seriously. You you have to get me on board and convinced that my sacrifice would actually have some sort of consequence and effect on the apocalypse, and they never really did enough. So I definitely, for that reason, related a lot to Andrew's character, where he's just not buying in. He wants more information from the Four Horsemen, and yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. So, um, yeah, I think the music also helped set the tone throughout the film. That was pretty ominous. I thought that was good. Not one that I'd necessarily look to listen to on its own. But other elements that I liked about the film, I did like the flashbacks that we got of Eric and Andrew's relationship. I thought those were probably my favorite scenes, was just seeing that play out. And yeah, the present was just kind of fine. I think it didn't really get me emotionally invested in any of the characters. That was also what that's another kind of thing against the film, in my opinion. I think for a movie like this to work, you really have to be invested in the characters. And I don't know what they could have done differently, but whatever they did, it didn't really have me all that invested. So it's a nice looking film. I saw this in the Dolby Cinema, so the sound and the picture was really good. I wish it maybe would have had a little bit more bass. Like I didn't notice the Dolby sound all that much throughout the film, but it was nice. Um, yeah, so it's a nice enough looking film. It's not gonna, for me, it didn't bore me to sleep. So part of me wanted to throw it in the B category. It's like, yeah, that was a good film, but I don't know. It's high C tier, maybe low B tier for me, and kind of when things split the fence like that or straddle the fence, whatever the saying is, I don't know. I generally will bump it down to the lower tier if it's kind of between tiers. So this one is a C for me. It was just fine. It's not one that I would recommend. But if you think you're interested in going to see it, I wouldn't stop you either. Like it did hold my attention, so I wouldn't caution you to not see it. But it's unfortunately not one that I would put on my list of recommendations. So that's my review though for Knock at the Cabin. If you've had a chance to see it, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Oh well, like without mentioning, I did love seeing Rupert Grint in this film. I haven't seen him in much of anything, if anything, since Harry Potter. So that was nice to get, and I thought I did like kind of the diversity of the cast and the characters. It could maybe be a little bit more diverse, but I thought for your average film, it's more diverse than your average film. So I liked that. I think that's one thing that it did very well. But yeah, I think the my favorite character is Andrew. If you have a favorite character, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. If you especially if you enjoyed this movie, I'd love to hear what parts of it worked for you. But with that, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to stay up to date on all my reviews. And with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.